Your grandmother could spot a proper British breakfast at 20 paces. You probably can't anymore. There are 30 small things on a real fry-up, 30 details, and almost every one of them has quietly disappeared in the last 50 years. Most people under 60 miss them all. By the end of this video, you'll see your own breakfast table differently. Number 11 will stop you in your tracks. And number one, your nan knew without ever being told. Sit down a moment, love. Before the cereal boxes and the cardboard packets, breakfast in this country was something else entirely. It fed the miners at Durham, the mill girls in Bradford, the dockers on the Clyde. After the war, when rationing dragged on until 1954, breakfast was where the day was won or lost. Most of it is gone now, but not all of it. Not yet. Let's begin at 30 and work our way down. The brown sauce bottle on the table. 3 ingredients on the label: malt vinegar, tomatoes, tamarind. HP sauce has sat on British breakfast tables for over a century. The recipe was created by Frederick Garton, sold in 1899 to Edwin Sampson Moore, and launched commercially in 1903, named after the Houses of Parliament. By the 1950s, 9 out of 10 British households had a bottle on the go. My father wouldn't sit down to a fry-up without it. He'd tap the bottle sharply on the bottom, the way men did, and a thick brown line would land across the bacon. You didn't ask for it, it was just there, like the salt and the teapot. That sauce wasn't a condiment, it was part of the furniture. The teapot, never the tea bag. 3 ingredients: loose leaf tea, boiling water, and a warmed pot. In 1955, the average British household drank 23 cups of tea a day. 23. The tea bag didn't really take hold here until the late 1960s, and even then my grandmother in Yorkshire wouldn't have one in the house. She'd warm the pot first with a splash from the kettle, swill it round, tip it out, then put in 1 spoon for each person and 1 for the pot. The tea brewed for 3 minutes, no more, and it came out the colour of polished oak. The bread that wasn't sliced. 3 ingredients: strong flour, yeast, salt. Before the Chorleywood process arrived in 1961, every loaf in Britain was a real loaf. You bought it from the baker on the corner for 4pence, and it had a crust that cracked when you cut into it. My mother would saw thick slices on the breadboard, and the heel was fought over. The bread went stale in 2 days, but it never went to waste. Stale bread became fried bread on Saturday morning, soaking up the bacon fat in the pan. That bread had 4 ingredients. The bread you buy today often has more than 20. Black pudding on the plate. 3 ingredients: pig's blood, oatmeal, onion. Up in Bury, Lancashire, they've been making it since the 1500s, and on a Saturday morning, the queue at the market stall ran round the corner. A length cost 6pence in 1948 and would feed 3. My uncle, who worked the cotton mills, swore by it. He said a slice before a shift would keep a man warm till dinner. Modern science later confirmed it. A single slice contains more iron than a steak. Your nan didn't know that, she just knew it stuck to your ribs. The mushrooms picked, not bought. 3 ingredients: field mushrooms, butter, salt. In the 1940s and into the 1950s, my grandfather would walk out at first light in autumn and come back with a cap full of field mushrooms from the meadow behind the house. They cost nothing, they tasted like the earth itself, fried in butter for 2 minutes, no more, with a pinch of salt. You can buy mushrooms in a plastic tray now, washed white and tasting of nothing. They share a name with the old ones and that's all. The egg from a chicken you'd met. Until the late 1960s, plenty of British families kept hens at the bottom of the garden or bought from a neighbour who did. My nan in County Durham had 4 bantams. The eggs were small with a yolk the colour of a marigold. You cracked one into the bacon fat and it set like a little sun. By 1980, 90% of eggs in this country came from caged birds. The pale yellow yolk you see now is not what an egg used to look like. Bacon cut at the counter. 3 ingredients: pork belly, salt, thyme. The butcher would slice it in front of you on a hand-crank machine and ask how thick you wanted it. 6pence a quarter pound in 1952. You took it home wrapped in waxed paper and it smelled of smoke and brine. Modern supermarket bacon is pumped with water, sometimes as much as 15% of the weight you pay for. When my mother fried bacon, the pan stayed dry. Today's bacon hisses and weeps a grey water and shrinks to half its size. That's a copy of bacon, not the thing itself. The fried tomato, a half, not a slice. 3 ingredients: tomato, dripping, pepper. A whole tomato cut in half, placed cut side down in the pan and left until it caramelised black at the edges. My father would press it gently with the back of a spoon. It cost a penny. It tasted like summer even in February. Any working family with a yard kept tomatoes growing in pots by the back door and preserved the green ones in autumn for winter chutney. A jar of green tomato chutney still sat in the pantry of my grandmother's house in 1979. The toast made under the grill, not in a toaster. 3 ingredients: bread, butter, thyme. The electric toaster was a luxury until the 1960s. Most British homes made toast by holding a slice of bread on a fork in front of the fire or under the grill of the oven. My grandmother used a long-handled toasting fork by the coal fire, and the toast came out blistered and uneven and tasting faintly of wood smoke. That smoky note was the breakfast. You'd butter it while it was hot enough to melt the butter clean through. There is no toaster on earth that makes toast like that. The kipper, smoked over oak. 3 ingredients: herring, salt, oak smoke. The Craster kippers from Northumberland came from a smokehouse dating to 1856, run by the Robson family since 1906, posted in a wooden box anywhere in Britain. A pair cost 9p in 1939. You grilled them on Sunday morning, skin side up, and the kitchen smelled like a harbour. My grandfather would eat one with brown bread and butter and a strong cup of tea, and that was his Sunday breakfast from the day he was married until the day he died. Most people under 40 have never tasted one. That's a quiet sort of crime. Now, before we go on, I have to stop and say something. Something happened to British breakfast between 1955 and 1975, and it didn't happen by accident. The end of rationing in 1954 left a hungry nation, and the food industry moved in fast. In 1957, an advertisement in Woman's Weekly told British housewives that a modern wife knew how to open a tin of beans and that scrubbing a pan was a waste of her time. Birdseye launched fish fingers that same year. Kellogg's pushed cornflakes hard on the new television sets appearing in British living rooms. By 1965, breakfast cereal sales in this country had tripled. Within a few years, a whole generation of British children believed that beans came from a tin and bacon came in plastic. Their mothers had cooked from scratch. They were told it was old-fashioned. The knowledge their grandmothers had, how to render dripping, how to cure a side of bacon, how to bake a loaf, how to read an egg by its shell, that knowledge wasn't taken from us. We were persuaded to put it down, and once it was down, no one picked it back up. There are women alive today in Wigan and Walsall who could cook circles round any modern chef, and their daughters cannot fry an egg properly. That's what we lost. Baked beans on toast, but the right way. 3 ingredients: haricot beans, tomato sauce, butter on the toast. Beans on toast became the British comfort breakfast of the 1960s, but the way it was eaten then was different. You toasted the bread under the grill, buttered it thick, then poured the beans on top while they were still bubbling. The butter melted into the toast underneath. A tin of beans cost 7p in 1962. It's a humble plate. It is also, in its way, the most British thing on this list. Dripping toast. 3 ingredients: stale bread, beef dripping, salt. When the joint was roasted on Sunday, the fat dripped into a tin underneath. By Monday morning, that tin held a layer of soft, savoury beef dripping with a brown jelly at the bottom, and that jelly was the prize. My mother would spread it on a slice of bread, sprinkle salt, and hand it to me on the way to school. A working man could go down the pit on a piece of dripping toast and not feel hungry again until midday. You will not see this on a hotel breakfast menu, but it kept Britain on its feet. Porridge made with salt, not sugar. 3 ingredients: oats, water, salt. Up in Scotland, where porridge has been breakfast since long before there was a Scotland to speak of, you made it with a pinch of salt and you ate it standing up. A pound of oatmeal cost 2p halfpenny in 1935 and fed a family of 6 for 3 days. There was a wooden stick called a spurtle for stirring, kept in the drawer for that one purpose. My Scottish aunt would not have a sugary porridge in her house. Pudding, she called it. That's not breakfast, that's pudding. The fried bread itself. 3 ingredients: yesterday's bread, bacon fat, patience. After the bacon and sausages were lifted from the pan, 2 slices of stale bread went in and soaked up every last drop of fat. They came out crisp on one side, gold on the other. This was thrift made delicious. Nothing was wasted. The bread that would otherwise have gone hard and been thrown to the birds became the best part of breakfast. The brown sugar in the tea, on Sunday only. 3 ingredients: tea, milk, demerara. During the week, my grandmother took her tea plain, but on a Sunday morning she'd reach for the tin of demerara, the brown sugar with the big crystals, and put 1 spoon in her cup. That was the small Sunday luxury. A pound of demerara cost 4p halfpenny in 1948 and lasted a month. We have everything every day now, and we taste none of it. The kipper paste in a pot. 3 ingredients: smoked fish, butter, mace, sold in little white china pots with a paper lid. You spread it on hot toast, especially on a weekday when there wasn't time for a fry-up. Shiphams of Chichester have been making it since 1894. A pot cost 5p and lasted 3 breakfasts. It was the convenience food of its day, but unlike modern convenience food, it had 3 honest ingredients and tasted of the sea. The haggis at breakfast. Yes, breakfast. 3 ingredients: oats, offal, suet. Across the border in the Borders and up into the Highlands, a slice of haggis fried in the pan was a Saturday breakfast standard well into the 1960s. A pound from a butcher in Howick cost £1 in 1955. Most English people don't know this, but ask anyone Scottish over the age of 75 and they'll tell you their father had a slice on his plate before he went to work. The marmalade made in February. 3 ingredients: Seville oranges, sugar, lemon. Once a year, in the last week of January or the first week of February, Seville oranges arrived in British greengrocers from Spain. They were only there for 3 weeks. My mother would buy £2 and the kitchen would smell of bitter orange peel for a whole day. She made 12 jars at a time and one sat on the breakfast table every morning for the rest of the year. Sales of Seville oranges in Britain have dropped 70% since 1970. Fewer and fewer kitchens know what February is supposed to smell like. The tomato ketchup that wasn't ketchup. 3 ingredients: tomato, vinegar, spice. Before Heinz dominated, every region had its own bottled tomato sauce, often homemade. My grandmother in Lancashire bottled hers every September. It went on the breakfast table in a glass jug. It had bits in it. It tasted of tomatoes that had grown in the sun. The smooth red sauce most people use today was designed in Pittsburgh in 1876. There's nothing wrong with it, but it isn't what was on a British table for most of the last 200 years. Kedgeree, leftover from last night's fish. 3 ingredients: smoked haddock, rice, hard-boiled egg. Brought back from India by Victorian families and adopted into the British breakfast tradition, kedgeree was made on a Sunday morning from Saturday's leftover smoked haddock. A whole haddock cost 9p in 1936 and stretched to 2 meals. It was Mrs. Beeton's recommendation for a Sunday breakfast in 1861, and it stayed on the menu of every grand hotel breakfast in Britain until the 1970s. Now it's almost forgotten. Now hold on. I want to stop here for a moment because something needs to be said. Look at what was on the traditional Scottish breakfast table. The porridge made with salt, the kipper, the brown bread, the cup of strong tea. These traditional foods are valued for their rich nutrient profiles. A bowl of plain salted porridge gives you slow-release energy, soluble fibre and B vitamins that most modern breakfasts cannot match. The kipper brings omega-3 fatty acids straight from the sea. Together, this breakfast carried a man through a 12-hour shift in heavy labour and did so for generations. Your great-grandmother did not have a degree in food science. She did not need one. She knew. The thing she knew, by feel and by habit, and by handing it down from her own mother, took no laboratory to confirm. It was not a discovery, it was a memory. The bacon sandwich. 3 ingredients: bacon, white bread, brown sauce. The breakfast you ate when you didn't have time to sit down. 2 slices of bacon between 2 slices of buttered white bread, with a streak of HP. A working man's breakfast on the way to the bus. It cost 9p at a workman's cafe in 1958. There are still cafes in this country, fewer every year, that do it properly. The bread will have butter you can see. The lard tub on the worktop, pure pig fat in a white tub. My mother kept hers covered with a saucer on the kitchen worktop. It cost 4p a pound and lasted a fortnight. You used a small spoonful for frying. Lard fell out of fashion in the 1980s when we all became scared of fat and was replaced with vegetable oils that, we now know, are far worse for the heart. The lard tub on the worktop is gone from most kitchens, and so is the smell. The boiled egg with soldiers. 3 ingredients: egg, bread, butter. 3.5 minutes for a runny yolk. A slice of buttered toast cut into long strips. You cracked the top of the egg with the back of a spoon, dipped a soldier in, and that was the start of the morning. This is the breakfast every British child of a certain age remembers. There is nothing complicated about this meal, and that is the point. The Marmite, scraped thin. 3 ingredients: yeast extract, salt, and stubbornness. Marmite has been on British breakfast tables since 1902. The trick was always to scrape it thin. A jar lasted 6 months in our house. My grandfather had a piece of toast every weekday morning with butter and Marmite, scraped so thin you could barely see it, and a strong cup of tea. He died at 91. I'm not saying it was the Marmite. I'm not saying it wasn't. The Welsh laverbread. 3 ingredients: seaweed, oatmeal, bacon fat. Down in Swansea on a Saturday morning, the market stalls sold a black paste called laver bread, boiled seaweed gathered from the rocks. You rolled it in oatmeal and fried it in bacon fat next to your egg. A jar cost 4p in 1947. It tastes of the sea and of iron. A miner from the Rhondda would have laughed at the idea of a smoothie. He had laver bread. The kippers in the pan, the door closed. The smell of grilled kipper would fill the house and stay in the curtains for 2 days. So my mother cooked them with the kitchen door shut and the window open. The whole street knew when someone was having kippers. There was no shame in it. It was a sign that someone was having a proper breakfast. The fried potato cake. 3 ingredients: leftover mash, flour, dripping. Sunday's potatoes became Monday's breakfast. My grandmother shaped the cold mash into flat cakes, dusted them with flour and fried them in dripping until they were brown on both sides. They cost nothing. They went on the plate next to the bacon. Most British kitchens did this until the freezer arrived and the leftovers stopped being leftovers and started being thrown out. The Cumberland sausage. 3 ingredients: pork, sage, pepper. A long, coiled sausage from the Lake District, sold by the foot, not the link. 6 inches cost 3p in 1949 from a butcher in Penrith. The skin was natural, not plastic. When you fried it, it crackled. The Cumberland sausage has been protected by European law since 2011. Only sausages made in Cumbria can carry the name now. That's how close we came to losing it. Now wait, just before we get to the last 2, I want to tell you about someone. Somewhere in a small terraced street in Sunderland, there is a woman of 87. Her name might be Edith. She lost her husband 11 years ago. Her kitchen is warm. There is a teapot under a knitted cosy on the table. She still makes a proper breakfast every Saturday morning. A fried egg, a slice of black pudding, a fried tomato, 2 rashers of bacon, and a piece of fried bread to mop it up. She uses dripping from a tub on the worktop. She makes her own marmalade in February. Her grandchildren live in London. They eat overnight oats from a glass jar. They love her, and she loves them, but when she dies, and she will before long, what she knows will go with her. There are tens of thousands of Ediths in this country, and time is running out. That's why I make these videos, so that something stays. The full English, properly laid out. 3 ingredients to start: bacon, sausage, egg. But on the proper plate, you'd also see beans, mushrooms, tomato, black pudding, fried bread, and a piece of buttered toast on the side. A fry-up at a transport cafe cost 1 shilling and 9p in 1962. It powered the lorry drivers from London to Glasgow. It is the most copied British meal in the world, and most of the copies are wrong. You need everything in the right spot on the plate, and you need a mug of strong tea. The cup of tea that came first. 3 ingredients: tea, milk, the right person making it. Before the bacon went in the pan, before the toast went under the grill, before anybody spoke, the kettle went on. The first cup of the day, brought in by my father to my mother in bed, was the start of everything. There was no breakfast without that cup of tea. There was no morning without it. Your grandmother knew, the way every grandmother in this country knew, that nothing began until the tea was poured. We have replaced it with a paper cup from a chain on the high street, and we wonder why mornings feel hollow. They feel hollow because the first cup wasn't made with love. It was made with a button. So there it is, 30 things you only notice in a proper British breakfast. Now I want to hear from you. Which one did your nan make? Tell me in the comments and I'll read every reply. This channel is here to keep these things alive while we still can. Leave a like and subscribe. And tomorrow morning, put the kettle on properly. Your grandmother would be glad.